The side for T1. This is about creating space now. This is forcing all these other teams into other areas of the map, allow them to loot, set up for the advanced UAVs, and disrupt. Well, he'll do even more than that. See you later, Heretics. Bye-bye. Dealt with and out of here.
CT Gaming, Heretics make an early exit here on this last map of Rebirth Island. And already, Virtus Pro continuing to do this nice little move and shift. You called it out. When your anchor's safe, you can play a little bit more free. Grimy, he's going to be the one to fly on over. Him and Destroy, they'll work together. You catch Jawad here on the outside. Nice little armor crack, pistol in hand. All you need is one more bullet. Maybe the nade will do it for you. I respect it from Grimy. He says, I don't need to go hunting right now. I don't need to get caught out of the water. Don't worry. Back on over to Grandma's. Ravens continue to be here. You can see as the zone is moving, it's pushing Twisted Minds out, but I'm looking at that kill feed, and it looks like Novo maybe have found their end against FaZe Clan.
Yeah, that's that problem with having your anchor involved in the fight at all times. We'll come back to it in a moment, though. Ravens have a lot to juggle. You've got Twisted Minds sat directly in front of you at Factory, but PBJ are starting to squeeze up from living quarters, and as such, it's going to create a little bit of a pincer by its lonesome. Heat has actually done very well in the kill feed there to pick up Believe, but King Chalk and Nearson will check back, ensure that this is cleared out, because you don't want to be trapped between these two sides.
Yeah, this is a huge sort of triangle that we have going out here. PBJ could put themselves in a fantastic position here to hold out two superstar teams and maybe get the points that they need to get them out of that bottom three. But they have to play it correctly if they want to. A lot of our top squads here just vying for position, vying for squad, opportunity just to find the kills that they need. Circle will continue to close on in as more northeast we go.
Gen work their way into Industries. Quietly does it. Spam just peering over with the sniper. We've seen this alternating role between him and Disrupt before. Disrupt, by the way, having a fantastic tournament. We've called him out through this year for his underperformance in relation to Spam in terms of the slaying department, but well, he's fixing all of that here in Paris, let me tell you. He continues to strip away. He's going to fly up towards Turbine here. Does have company from Virtus Pro. Doesn't mind the fight, but it will be felled by Adrian. But does a lot of work with his life there.
Well, let's go ahead. FaZe Clan, it's looking like a good map for them. Let's take a listen in to see if they have what it takes to get out of the bottom.
Yo lo tiré. Me pongo el heavy, avancen.
Date. Voy a avanzar aquí a la izquierda. Está
Avanzando del agua, pilas del agua.
Okay. Arriba. Wani.
Estoy aquí. Buena.
Nice, something.
Remate el último.
Volando, está volando el otro.
Está volando, cayó en el agua ya. Aquí, mi ping.
Vamos a limpiar abajo, venga.
Aguántame.
Juntos, ya estoy abajo.
Estoy chaleando.
Acuérdense que tenemos gente en el agua, vengan.
Aquí a mi derecha.
Sí. Subió.
Que suban, papi, suban de vuelta.
Sí.
Lo tienes en la bike, sin la bike.
Espérame.
Aún no agarré.
Nos tiré cluster. Sí, está
En el techo.
En el shack también.
Ya nos cayeron los de PP, papi. Detrás, aguas, me estoy bloqueando.
Ahí no en el agua, son dos nada más aquí.
Uno por donde llegamos.
Vamos a echar por donde llegamos.
De mi derecha me tumbó.
Abajo dos, uno.
Muerto. No puede sacarlo.
Puedes revivir en tienda.
Dale.
Oh, it was Vamos! You make your way into the turbine and you just get caught at the wrong time. FaZe Clan had everything going their way, but they drop outside of any type of multiplier. It was looking good. You heard the confidence. You even heard them say, calm down. Let's just chill. We don't need to do anything. But it's just too many teams at the turbine that push them out and cut them down.
Yeah, hell of a lot going on there. Eventually, it's a five-man contest over at the turbine, and eventually you are felled. But the Ravens, you're sniffing out a lot at prison. PBJ have made their way here, so the next targets for King Chalk and Nearson, a huge development off of our screens, by the way. Twisted Minds have moved all the way up the coast, taken Gen G not only out of Chemical, but off the map, and now control essentially the entire center of the circle. It's putting themselves in a spot to continue to dominate this lobby.
You can see Vitality still alive. They're actually going to be one of these squads that have taken a home of Turbine. Just on the outside, you have Virtus Pro, who they were trying to get Mixie at Turbine. It got a little bit too worse for wear for them, so they're going to go ahead, back on up, hold the line here at the shack. But T1 They get a sense that VP's in here, and Disrupt is the one trying to work some of these angles. Good job there. He finds the timing, slides on in, will cut down Adrian. Where's the trade from Virtus Pro? It's not there. Plates go in, he resets the health, and he's looking to get back active.
Disrupt has played that incredibly well, by the way, to ensure he was always staying in a position where Echo and Spam could cover him. He's not going to send this, although actually he does get a little overextensive tucked into that box. Just wanted to keep himself on that corner. Boys should be able to buy him back in at the industry's buy regardless. PBJ, they're dead. They're out of here. We'll not get that top 5 multiplier. Woes continue.
Oh,
Battle done.
Continuing to go. Vitality swings in, and you have to finish this fight quickly because Resurgence is disabling.
Lovely stuff out of Vitality. Time it well. Understand that there is a situation ongoing and move up once those red dots stop appearing on their radar. Ravens, though, are about to do the exact same thing to them. They hear the gunfights. They want to get involved. Sage will get cracked, ripped down to a slither of HP, but will survive just for now.
I think the Ravens make a great call there. They could have flown at Vitality, but they look at the zone and say, the second we do, we know T1's over at Bio, we're going to get held. We're going to get gate kept. It's so easy for us to get third party. It's way more important we get to that 1.4 multiplier. We have the points. We're sitting pretty okay in top 5, but they want to feel comfortable heading into Fortune's Keep.
Right, you all. Because now it's all about waiting to see who blinks, who makes that first move. T1 will have to leave bioweapons at some point. Is it for Industries, or do you make the crossing to Chemical? How long do you want to invest in this fight? As you back off here, the call might be being made. Gentlemen, do we wish to continue to get involved in this, or do we play in for top 5?
Tough decision. But for other squads, you don't really have a choice. You have to take the fights if you're going to try and make it deeper into this map. For Ravens, they're gonna go on this outside. You catch Sage, that's the anchor from Vitality. Getting dropped underneath you. It's Smith and Skullface. 2 of the 3 S's trying to work together. But I think they're gonna try and lay in wait here. They understand, we cannot take this fight. We cannot take the 2v3 on Ravens above us. How do we get out of this industry side? How do we get in? I guess maybe they can make their way over through the tunnel. Try and play in underground. Get over to Chemical if you can, but that is a hell of a fight to try and make happen.
I would have agreed with you about the tunnel play about 30 seconds ago, but T1 did make that rotation. Backed up from the fight, went from Bio to Chemical. Actually, I think it's Echo dropping back. No, it's Spam, just trying to cover your retreat in case it's needed. And actually, the Ravens get active. They will wipe Vitality here. Now have Spam trying to hem them in, and it might force the Raven squad through the tunnels as all of T1 turn and face in this direction.
That's another top 5. Miss for Vitality. So many of these squads still outside of zone. Who's in zone with full control? It's still Twisted Minds. T1 here on the outside. You saw them getting a little bit mixing into that fight with the Ravens. They're going to hold the line yet again. One more team needs to drop to get to that top 5. All of these squads know it. It's 1 player from Virtus Pro alive. You got 1 player from H1. Other than that, it's 2 Ravens and all 3 squads still alive. Stallion's one of those ones that they might be able to sneak their way over. Do they make this read, though? The Ravens are close by. Trades start coming on through. Zone is closing in. T1 goes for the res. I don't know if you're going to be able to get it, because you're now just sort of trying to play as a full 3. Spam, no plates. On the low ground, Kruger's gonna find Echo. Disrupt swings, puts number 10 on the board as he gets the drop, and Zone pulls back over to Bio. T1, they might be in such a good spot.
They want to get ahead of this, but actually Ravens are going to move first from Industries. They go back through the tunnel, get themselves set up now, so they'll be able to try and hold everybody out. It's on T1 to catch essentially what remains. Spam's going to try and loot a couple of bodies. There will actually be 1 player from H1 beneath him. Doubt he reads that. But look at this. Blast and Shift have actually dropped amongst this, and Almond trying to make something happen in the gas. Feels a little bit like a Hail Mary. Not that it really matters much in terms of the grandstands, but it will be Ravens in control of win condition. Disrupt trying to upset that. Somehow totally misses Almond. And as Almond hits the buy for Shifty to fly back in, Ravens are just playing cleanup.
Yeah, all they need to do, it was both teams trying to play for that buy station to get the players, the teammates back in. But look at this, they've been able to do it. But unfortunately, Shifty, he's still here at the top. He's still ripping. Stallions dropped into the back as King Chalk will cut down Echo. 7 players remaining across 4 teams here. It's all 3 players from the Ravens. It's 1 player in Shifty from Twisted Minds, a T1 player player, an H1 player, but you hit the buy yet again, and Conal drops Disrupt.
And the zone will drag again. All these sides must shift themselves. Ravens are trying to get ahead. You read that Spam's just in behind you. King Chalk sees him, cuts him, drops him. T1 are out of here. Ravens now solidify themselves with a top 3 at the very minimum. 3 v1v1. But one of them is Blastides, and he is eventually sniffed out by Nielsen.
Yeah, we're not going to see another one happen here. It's a 3v1. Conal will get dropped, and Ravens Esports will claim a win here on day 2. Shift had a lot to say about Ravens, but I might go ahead and suggest we do a little bit of content at the boulangerie for him, because he's got a lot of baloney coming his way.
Certainly does. Look, we'll check back in once we see the final scoreboard. But the Ravens coming into this with the second best team on Rebirth Island. Had not looked that way so far in the tournament. Felt inevitable that they would eventually start to light things up here. But I've got to applaud their decision making. Clear out industries, take their time, set themselves up in that spot in tunnel. And it's kind of, okay, we've got the opportunity to push Chem should the zone send it, or rotate early before anybody else. And they are brave on that rotation. They're so far ahead of everybody else. Deal with everything in mass. And then don't get over aggressive. We see it so often from some other sides where they, all right, we're in control of this. They overextend, they push on out. No such thing. King Chalk and Nielsen had a vice grip, an iron fist around the throat of this lobby, and they do a great job to close out.
Nice, très bien, très bien. Très bien. Il est au-dessus, je crois. Ouais, sur moi. Ouais, sur toi. Track. Ah, let's go, baby. Bien joué. Let's go, baby. Bien joué, les gars. C'est une énorme game, les frères.
You love hearing the energy, the fist pumps, the nice after you get a win there. What a way to juice it up. Only 2 more maps remain here for Group A, and I think ending Rebirth Island on a win will definitely have the Ravens feeling great as you get ready to head on over to Fortune's Keep. A map that just a few months ago, they said none of us have ever played this map before. So, being able to have them feel this good sitting here, gonna feel very A-okay.
Certainly shall. I penny for the faults of the Ravens, though, because you do see teams like T1 in the later stages. Novo at least drop early. We didn't really see too much from Eclectic, so some of those sides in behind them won't be a factor. But they've done great work to put themselves in the driving seat right now. There's been a hell of a lot going on here inside of Paris. What we're going to do, we're going to take a moment. We'll be right back after this.
He can come in here and play my game. Let's go. He knows nothing. Let's go!
Tyler Wine, you're done.
Raw energy. Puff, blow the house down.
Mesdames et messieurs, I'm here with Show H1. This is how we say in English, actually. He's the co-streamer of France for 2 teams, H1 and Gentlemates. I'm gonna ask him some question in French and translate for you guys. Show, est-ce que tu es content d'être là? Comment est-ce que ça se passe? Représentant de 2 équipes, H1 et Gentlemates. How are you feeling?
Mec, extrêmement heureux, honoré d'être là pour Gentlemate, les caster et tout, et d'avoir eu l'opportunité de pouvoir me prendre 3 joueurs. C'est exceptionnel, c'est que du kiff, et puis genre le setup est trop bien, il y a une vibe de fou, je peux inviter tous les Français qui jouent sur le setup, c'est du bonheur, moi je kiffe.
I mean, it's so fun for now. Like, I can invite everybody from there. I'm really proud to be there for Gentlemate, of course, and I'm really a lucky guy to have another team, like for the first H1 groups in the Group A with my team. So it's basically only loved. Everybody is so chill and cool, and the setup is really good. Deuxième question, mon cher Cho. Comment est-ce que tu vois la compétition arriver? Là, pour l'instant, on en est où pour H1, on en est où pour Mate? Est-ce que tu es serein? Est-ce que personne ne sera éliminé, c'est sûr, mais qui va réussir à se qualifier directement en finale? So now we have the 2 teams. How you feel? Confident or not about the fact they're gonna make it to grand finals instantly, or they have to go to the survival stage?
Pour H1, ça sent un peu le pâté actuellement, on est 15e sur 16 et je veux que tu traduises pâté. Donc compliqué, j'espère qu'ils vont réussir à avoir le top 13. Et pour Mate, je pense qu'actuellement, on a la future équipe championne du monde. En tout cas, c'est ce que je souhaite.
Okay, so I asked him what's he feeling about the two teams. So for H1, it smelled le pâté, and that's mean I don't know. You said it in English, but it smelled the pâté, and basically we just have to don't get in the bottom three, or we're gonna get out of the competition. And I think for Gentlemates, whatever happened, this is the team who will actually won the competition. So of course they're gonna make it to final, and of course they're gonna win it all. Joachim, un mot de la fin, last words.
Mate win.
I don't have to translate that. See you there.
2 more drops remain in Group A, and even though a lot of our bottom teams were giving us a bit of a surge, maybe a resurgence, in the first couple of games, last couple have really been dominated by some of our top teams, and now we got 2 left to play. Who you liking?
Hey, big shout out to the Ravens, man. Hometown heroes, they're back. This looks like what they did yesterday. The first 2 maps were complete duds, but Rebirth Island, they've made a huge comeback going into Fortune's Keep. They're safe. Big question is, can they maintain a top 5 position after a win like that?
Absolutely the case. Other squads that are on the bubble outside the top 5, you saw Novo T1 really trying to boost themselves up. Novo eliminated a little bit earlier than they would have liked, considering that they had like 13 kills in the first 3 circles.
Well, yeah, funny enough, I think they actually won out most of their engagements in Control Center and kept pushing VP away. Said, please leave, but they were fighting as a full team of 3. VP finally show up and wiped them because they're all together. So it was a bit of a resilience thing that they were doing that worked, but unfortunately that does punish them by going down early.
Absolutely the case, but now with 2 drops remaining, we keep our focus not just on who makes it to the top 5, but who's sitting in the bottom and who may be crushed. Thoughts kind of surrounding PBJ, FaZe, the guys that have been kind of lingering right in the bottom 3 all day.
Yeah, I know we've been talking a lot about FaZe, and for good reason. This is a really strong team. They did fantastic in their regional qualifiers. I've been casting over GoClan for like 3.5 years, man. This guy is a very, very strong player. Got their listen-ins. Everything sounded good. Everything was moving perfectly. It was a great move. And then they all get wiped. It's the same thing. When you make a big rotation as a full team of 3 stacked on top of each other, there is some risk associated with that, and they get wiped much earlier than they would have liked. But take a look, leaderboard-wise, a big move from T1. Yes, they did not win that map, but had a gigantic kill tally, which means they're way up there into the top 5.
Get kills, get top 5. That's what everyone's pretty much shooting for at the least for the time being. The T1 was able to put themselves in a very comfortable position alongside the likes of Twisted Minds, Virtus Pro, and Ravens a little bit. Yeah, I know, my hot take's kind of falling a little short.
Listen, I respect your hot take.
I appreciate that.
There was a possibility that Ravens could have flopped on main. They did flop in the first 2 games, but again, on Rebirth Island, they've really clutched back up and reminded themselves of who they are and what they did online. They're doing it on LAN.
Hey, if it was safe, it wouldn't be a hot take. We got more of those to come. We also got more Enigma and Dandro gracing our screens. Boys?
I will give Shift some credit. It was actually a hot take. Some people like to go lukewarm with those, so I will hand him plenty of credit. And yeah, to be fair, Ravens did put themselves in an incredibly uncomfortable position, and they're not done just yet.
Yeah.
We now move over to Fortune's Keep. They've been below average when it comes to this map, so we're not done just yet. And all of these teams now must look at how they performed yesterday when it comes to Fortune's Keep and how the leaderboard sits.
That win, though, on Rebirth Island will give them a pretty comfortable position. They're currently 20 points above Gen G in 5th there, so
it's not bad.
As long as you have some average, I think Fortune's Keep, you should be okay. I think my hot take is going to be FaZe Clan might have an actual chance to do this, my friend.
They might.
As we get ready to move into Fortune's Keep, because like I said, we lit that listen in on Rebirth Island. They were feeling good. It was a much better map on that Rebirth Island than we've seen before. But when we look yesterday, this was the best FaZe Clan look. They looked solid on Fortune's Keep. So I need them to take that momentum from before. They might be able to claw their way from beneath, because when we look at the teams that are around them on that bottom 3, it's basically the bottom 5. It's teams from 12th down to 16th. This could really mix it up after these Fortunes Keep. And when we kind of look at it, a lot of those other squads like Heretics, CT Gaming, PBJ, they're some of the worst in the lobby when it comes to Fortunes Keep. FaZe Clan, actually not bad.
No, FaZe Clan are very much in the middle of the pack. PBJ only achieved 10 points across 2 maps yesterday on Fortune's Keep, so they have got to figure out what they are doing. Yesterday, the zones pulled to middle of the map, literally top mid, which we don't see very often, and then it was off towards the bay. We are going to get a look at the zone early here, and that is wild. That's way off towards the east. I actually expected Winery to see a lot of competition. It gets given for free. That is insanity, considering what that looks like. Gen G taking a hold of that nice and early. Lighthouse will belong to Novo. That's where they've moved on off to. Keep That's for the Ravens, who are looking to cement themselves on through to Sunday.
Listen, man, I'm watching this kill feed, and Vitality is already hot off the press. I'm seeing kills against DK, kills against Virtus Pro, so many, and now H1 is in the mix, getting a little bit of fights in return here. So obviously a battle happening towards the keep, but everybody is just hot off the presses, guns hot for these last final 2 maps. 5 teams will make it to Sunday. 3 teams got to pack their bags and hit Charles de Gaulle.
It's a long line, if anyone's wondering. It takes you a hell of a long time to get through that airport. So you might want to start getting them done already if you're PBJ. But it will be Gen G in complete control over Winery. They are fine here. Loadout in hand already. Don't know if you can hear the Dan laughing off to my right hand side. I'm very proud of that one. Spam sitting atop the tower with the sniper in hand. We've seen a lot more of this today. Feels like that's an adjustment out of T1. Again, he brings an extra element and dynamic, does that young man, because he can just run with an SMG as one of his main weapons. He's such a talent. And in the lead for the Rookie of the Year at the minute by many people's standards. VP, you got company. H1 are going to meet you at the Bay.
Who's going to swing first? Looks like it's Ivy Fire. Sim is there. You let your teammate fly forward, though. Unfortunately, the trade comes on in. Kudli dropped. Ivy Fire gets the full. You can't get the second, though. Grimy. He'll get a nice little 2-piece on H1. Last player anchoring off the distance.
You got to deal with this quite early as well. So it's great stuff from Virtus Pro. They will continue to repel that because they must get a hold of the buy station before other teams start to arrive. Speaking of which, FaZe Clan, they're patrolling even the north side of the coastline. And they're going to push beyond the player who is from Ravens that's pushed out from Keep. Actually, just sneaky their way in through the backside, but Eclectic usually operating out of Grotto. They'll be forced to rotate out of here early. You can see it just as Keybase's attempts to find space. He's cut down by the first squad.
Yeah, first squad, they're going to send those shots out, but you can see already that T1 has an idea that there's probably some of these first squad players around them below. So as you start to hear some of these bullets go out, you start to turn your attention. For Grimy from Virtus Pro, looks like they've been able to sort of regain over here towards this bay side. Vitality. Early kills on their side as they look to clear out sort of this outer winery area. They'll give it up to Gen G. They'll let them take it. They'll say, hey, we're going to try and farm all around you. Have fun. Holding all of this landmass. But now they're kind of running up against the Stallions, and you have to be careful here because as you can see, you got that one player from Gen G on the minimap who is kind of looking down at here. If you're not careful, you could find yourself at the end of a couple bullets from either Gabe Kuhn, Aiden, or Ledden.
Yeah, you're actually in a horrible position here if you're Vitality. The Stallions players starting to squeeze upon you. Players of H1 are potentially harassing your anchor. You don't really have much in the way of coverage. And while Pier does have a buy station, there's not a lot of loot. So, yeah, tough one to watch if you are a Golden Hornet. As for Geekade, they're set up Terrace's Chapel. There are about 14 churches on this map. Call them what you wish. Twisted Minds, they're at the gatehouse close by. We'll have to continue to rotate. They've had no problems with that. Yesterday we had a bay zone. Who won it? Twisted Minds. Dominated the lobby with 22 kills. They'll have no issue getting themselves across this map. But Shifty, who has just got himself back in, he hears a zip nearby, wants to get up, active off the back of it.
Ooh!
Oh my lord, how the hell do you win that?
What? Nobody but Shifty! Oh my god! Off the top rope, it's a straight up kickflip. I can't believe that. That's a juicer to just start running this map if you needed one.
The thing is, you'd think so. Shifty just shakes his damn head. He's like, what the hell was that guy doing?
Another day in the office.
Does get the support in.
Guy's lost.
And again, those guys look so much better in that area right now, but when you've got a man in your team like Shifty with the ceiling he possesses, you can never count this team out. FaZe Clan, what have you got? It's got to be something, otherwise you're done here. They're trying to hold the Ravens out. They have a lot of land to rotate out of if they wish. Might push them into the hands of Twisted Minds, though. Nielsen on 3, burning through the timer, hoping his duo can get back in. King Choc will just watch this one play out for now.
I kind of like this from FaZe Clan. Get up into this keep. You know there's going to be teams here. You know you need the kills. You know you need the points. This is a great way to do it. I like this from Clamp. Sit on this rooftop. Try and catch some of these players flying in, and that's exactly what he's going to do. meet up with the teammate, you find King Chalk flying in, you don't allow the Ravens to regroup. Now, do you make this read? The Neosyn's on the inside. I think Clamp was thinking about trying to throw a little bit of a shoulder there, but unless you're gonna have the teammate, maybe get guns that you feel comfortable with, you don't need to do it. Instead, he's gonna go up towards the top, maybe try and keep eyes on the spy station that's down below.
Reminder of the peril that FaZe face right now. They are currently 25 points or so away from safety, so it needs to be the best performances of their damn lives. Heretics also aren't safe, neither are PBJ, and these two will draw blood down towards Grotto. Believe will come out on top. A Franco, if ever we've seen one, but who else is here? Eclectic. They've been here for most of the year, and they don't like any intruders. They'll deal with them, send them packing, continue to move across the map.
A little bit late on the shots there from Believe, not something we see all the time. And Freddy's just gonna push forward. He hears the self go off, not even worried about it. Drops Believe, and you see Praise gets taken out by Teeny flying on in from the Heretics. So PBJ, just zero opportunity to feel like they maybe can have a sense of a foothold in this map. As we take a look back on over, Mati still in the kill feed, still finding King Chalk, doing a great job of finding these kills at the keep, and more importantly, not really allowing the Ravens to get into this map.
The thing as well, for a lot of these teams that are at the keep, you've got to rotate out at some point. Zone's just told you that, as if you weren't aware anyway. So I'm looking for smokes in the back pockets of players, because otherwise the crossings are a nightmare, and I'm not seeing many. So right now, this play from T1, huge for them. Get the advanced up, let you know what your path is, and figure out a route to some semblance of safety, because if you don't get across with information in hand, we've watched many a side be cut on rotation. As if you can even bloody get out.
Yeah. A couple buybacks going on down below. You see already, there's going to be Novo below you as Vita from CT Gaming tries to make their way forward, but at distance, it's going to be some Vitality players who get into the damage. You soften them on up. Vortex on this backside. It's a nice two-piece. Vita to Killer get dropped. Not going to be a fun day for them. Let's see how the Italians are feeling so far.
Prendimi i soldi restati, raga, l'unica.
Sì, stanno celando. Da dove? Da quadrato mi sa. Più al top, ce la faccio, dici? Sì. Più al top. Al top. Dobbiamo rotare, raga, dobbiamo rotare da destra. Non c'è quadrato, non lo vedo. Rutiamo. Hanno beccato quadrato, ok? Rutiamo. Faccio una stick. Mi sto largando, grappolo. Cluster, fatto cluster. Sono larghissimo io. Arrivederci. Noi veniamo sotto, Nico, da...
Raga, hanno riso davanti, hanno riso davanti.
Sì, si allarga in fondo, va in fondissimo.
Grappolato.
Sono messo bene io.
Siamo in safe là,
Tron.
Dobbiamo vincere Pierre, raga, Andate.
Adesso largo, Wani, fatto. Vai, spara.
Vitality.
Vai, lontani in fondo a destra. Caga.
Prendi il mitraglione, lo prendi te?
C'è un altro.
Prendo io.
Occhio dietro, non viene niente dietro.
Solid rotations coming out of Novo. They cut down one player from Vitality. That'll get them a little space on the map they desperately need as the zone continues to close in around Winery.
I don't mind the call. We are aware that zone is going to pull to Winery, so let's adjust into position as they look towards rotation. Twisted Minds, considering playing tunnels, are they aware that T1 are directly beneath them as a full 3? Fight that we all want to tune into. Ravens, well, they've been in the blender pretty much the entirety of the map. Don't know if King Chalk is long for the world, to be honest, and the answer is no. Ravens cleared out, top 10 now hit. All these teams getting a 1.2 multi. Vitality holding on by a thread. Sage will do his damnedest, but Vortex will drop him. Skullface will have to leave his boys behind and nothing but burn ash at this point. He will mourn them and move on over to the Winery buildings, but on his own, there isn't much he can do.
In the back that you see there on your screen, FaZe Clan eliminated. They made it to the top 10 before they were. So it's a lot of kills, it felt like, from them in the kill feed.
They did.
Let's see if they can take advantage of that 1.2 multiplier to start the run. Back into the map we go as H1 starting to play on this beach side, potentially against Novo. How do you get into the zone?
The thing is, for everything we were just saying about FaZe Clan, H1 with a team in 14th. With the amount of kills on Kudley alone, that likely leapfrogs PBJ and makes them the team to chase. So if H1 have a great game here, that only turns the screw, pours salt into the wound for FaZe Clan and CT Gaming and PBJ as they all watch a gap start to appear.
A little bit late on the gas play. Eclectic, though. They sniff that they have maybe some Italians pushing their way up through the grapevines. Maybe He could look to hold them out. Sage, last alive. Throwing some shoulders, trying to get a lay of the land, but the second he does is ripped. Yeah, it's Teeny and Shifty that'll line up to cut him down. Vitality will drop. It is a top 10 finish, so at least a 1.2 multiplier. But the team needs to do a little bit better if they want to try and make it to that top 5. Virtus Pro, they've managed to find some signs of life. They are here doing great, but let's check on over because Gen G, they're about to be in a battle here.
Heretics are just waiting for them, begging them to step through the doors. Gen G will drop. Aiden gets the Kraken initially. Lennon finds Zeppa. Great work, backs out, sends and swings. Orbs and Teeny, though, they'll clear out. Lennon, so 2v2 as they go.
I like this. You back up. If you are Gen G, you lose the one and it's okay. And you might have found the great piece of con timing because Athletic, they've started pushing it from the back. Freddy, it's a nade. You drop Teeny. You drop Obbs. Heretics bid adieu.
Superb work from the Italians. Weren't bad yesterday on Fortunes, needed some points on the board, and they're making their way to the late stage of this map with kills in their pockets. Gen G are forced on a wide rotation. Zone just pushing everyone to further north. Athletic will probably shadow them in at this point. The team's in driving position. T1, Virtus Pro. 2 members of the Twisted Minds, and that's who Gen G may meet here first, as soon as they peer up over this wall.
Zone has pushed us to this house right above the Bay Area. Aiden just trying to look across up at the top. Here's Twisted Minds on top of the building. Do they make the read that you have some people behind you? Because Gen G and Athletic, they're about to fight behind you down below. It's Novo and T1 continuing to battle. As finally Virtus Pro make their way out of the hole. Fede, you do not look left. Fede finds the kills that he needs. Talk about Rookie of the Year.
Great stuff from him. Pops off in a moment where his boys needed him most. Hunkering in for the top 5. Gonna let everybody else scramble over this land. Member of H1 just above him. Gen G being held out by Twisted Minds. Gabe does not have a stim available, so he's going to invest in the self-revive play. Aiden is down and out. Twisted just holding. Gabe couldn't get back up, but it's read by Placides and done. Gen G fall, as do H1, the 2 members of Twisted to close this out.
2 members of Twisted Minds. It's a T1 player in Disrupt as well as a player from Novo. What do we see here? How do you start to move? Fede, he just went huge for the team. Can he stay alive? No, because Twisted Minds have separated themselves. They find one, they clean up Disrupt. It's another win. They don't even care. Put it on the board, get them to Sunday.
Talked about it earlier. We had a Bay Zone just yesterday. The team that came out on top, Twisted Minds, and they dominated. We do it this time. We do it as a 2. It's Blast, it's Shifty, the players that we've so often spoke about through recent months as pacing issues, com issues, chemistry problems. No such thing here in Paris. They are looking absolutely stunning, dominant on the day, and how that sends a shiver, not just through the rest of this group, but to potential rivals in Group B as well, who are waiting on playing this afternoon. And yeah, Shifty feeling himself basking in the lights here on main stage. Let some people know out there that they absolutely stink.
Yeah, he's loving it. We got some great Twisted Mind fans here in the venue. They are sending him all of the energy, all of the love. Nice little sign that I heart Blast. And well, if you are obviously Almond and Shifty, you're saying I love Blast too. He's making some veteran plays always up here towards the end. But let's just kind of see, how do we get to that point where it's just 2 members of Twisted Minds and a couple of other stragglers here, and it's really just, they hold the high ground. It's classic Warzone.
Well, they operated in the same way yesterday. They're kind of like, okay, we're going to position ourselves in a spot where we can just basically go and let everybody else rotate beneath. And it's so calm.
Wait, was there a second PA? Am I blacking?
Yeah, you blacked out.
Am I blacking?
Because I literally was interested.
You blacked out. Look, the thing is, it's so casual from them. And again, they did this yesterday. They kind of set themselves up, just overwatching the Bay. They don't need to send themselves into it, go hunting red dots. Gonna let everybody else scramble over those bottlenecks and the chokeholds. As long as no one's in behind them, they're relatively covered. It's about shooting straight. And, well, there's not many people that have ever done that better than him. And for everything that we've said about Blast and his issues, there's one thing he's always done, and that is shoot incredibly well on land.
All right, well, we got one last map here in Group A. It's going to be a banger. Do not worry, though. We're going to get hopping into it very, very quickly.
So basically know from playing ranked a lot. I started competition last year, but I got an issues during the plane last year. I tried to take the first plane. I take the first plane, but I thought that the second plane would be so hard for me, especially for 11 hours travel. So it was like impossible for me. I have this since I'm a little kid, honestly, and I was just didn't pay attention. I didn't know that we have like opportunity to see bigger, and so like my parents go in holidays in plane, and I'm stuck in my house. And basically, I was working with a psychologist for have my problem with the plane, so it was the timing was a bit too short. The thing is just the first time I just go alone without my family. It was my first plane, so the condition was not really good. I saw that the EWC will be in France. I was like, it's a second chance for me, so I'm gonna prove that I'm a good player and I'm not cheating.
It's really hard to tell with Kudli as to how he's going to be in this tournament. He's got the potential to be a world beater from what we've seen online. He comes into things last second and very much so shakes up the standings, but LAN is a different beast.
Kudli is one of those, there's a lot of question marks on him. I don't even know where to rate him because I think this is like his first time on LAN.
I just don't care about the critics about me. I think I can be like easy top 5 best player in the world, honestly, if I'm just working on it, especially my mental. My objective and another objective is to be quite in the finals. So if we go to the final, we prove that everyone can have a chance to make his last minute team and can be as well in the WC and maybe win, we never know.
One final map, one final chance here in Group A to survive here at EWC 26. Miles and Seymour to take you through a little break before we get into that final drop. Mate, how are you feeling about this next game?
Feeling great. I mean, a lot on the line. We get to eliminate our first teams from EWC here at Warzone. Keys are about to get crushed.
Keys, dreams, hopes, and an early journey home for many of our players. It is going to be a tough one. We will see 3 descend into the Crusher today. And there's a chance we do see we kind of know where we're going here. So, I mean, where are you worried about? What teams are you looking forward to in the next one?
I mean, FaZe. We heard it just before the break between Rebirth Islands that they were kind of on the brink. They haven't been playing that well. We're seeing placings. Fortune's Keep, not really the best for them. But they're not alone in this fight. I mean, you got PBJ to worry about. You got H1 to worry about. We just saw from Cooley. It would be something if they are able to turn up and avoid that, but it's going to be hard for these teams.
As we know, though, the way Warzone plays out, the way Resurgence plays out, anything can happen. We have seen some incredible comebacks, and the chance is still there just to escape that bottom 3 placement. We'll be keeping a very keen and firm eye on that. Top 5 not cemented either, so at the upper end of the bracket, we have still got teams to work out. This group is far from over. What are you feeling about the top end, mate? I mean, let's face it. Twisted Minds, they're looking fantastic.
They got the fans. They got everybody around them. VP2. I mean, you saw Grimy earlier on Rebirth Island. He nearly clutched up. Unfortunately, Amin had a different story for him, but we also hear the hot take from Shift about Ravens. I'm not worried about Ravens whatsoever. I think that they are going to be A-okay, and they've shown it too. I think that Ravens have turned up.
Yeah, the energy's there. I mean, they're sitting just next to us. A couple of confident faces indeed. I mean, they should not be too worried. However, cannot take your hands off the wheel. Can't take your feet off the gas. It's going to be a tough one. But, mate, wondering about the last few maps. I mean, is there anything you would you come to expect? You're a caster of Warzone. You know your things. I mean, how do you feel about these next 2?
I mean, Fortune's Keep? Yeah, the next one. Fortune's Keep. It has been a blast. I've been loving it so far. Biggest map that we have in Resurgence, and a lot of teams are probably still trying to find their comfort on LAN playing this one. First weekend that we get Fortune's Keep on LAN, so it's going to take a little bit for them to get used to it, but they got one map, and this is where they can lay it all on the field.
Time now to go to our final map, the last chance to stay alive here at EWC 26. Back to the casters, boys. Let's get it on.
One map is the difference between some of these teams having dreams and some of these teams having nightmares. The dream stays alive for H1. Nice little heartwarming piece from Kudli there for him to be able to be here. Says we want to prove that we can be one of the best teams. And well, after a fantastic last map, Enigma, they've been able to do it. They have jumped out of the bottom 3 here. They got about a 20-point gap on any of the other bottom 3 teams. They might have just done it there in Game 7, but they have to continue to do it here in this last final game of the day.
Yeah, they're going to want to make sure, so you can't go out early. You don't want to watch your destiny slip between your fingers. You've
got a grasp on it right now. It is PBJ, CT Gaming, and FaZe Clan who sit in those bottom three. I'm going to be honest, you need a hope and a prayer if you're FaZe Clan. You would need a 35-point banger. And considering you've had less than 100 points all the way through this tournament, I just don't see it coming. For CT and PBJ, you sit just over the 100-point marker, but is H1 the team to chase alongside the Stallions? They sit around that 120 points. First Squad and Heretics just above them. So there is a lot to play for. A couple of these sides need to figure things out. Top 5, Novo currently sit in that spot, chasing. They're on 145. Gen G sit in the 5th spot, 157. So that looks pretty good. But again, a lot of those teams towards the top can have bangers, so we're far from settled just yet.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is map number 12 for Group A here at the Esports World Cup. Yet again, bottom 5 will make it, or top 5 will make it to Sunday. Bottom 3 get their keys crushed. If you're any of the remaining teams, guess what? You got one more day of play ahead of you in the survival stage. You can see the standings on the right side of your screen there to see just how close it is between some of our teams here. And we start off with Gen G, the team that's currently in 5th place. You're down a member, and you're starting to maybe lurk here as you have a couple of those Vitality boys lurking nearby.
Really important one for Vitality this. You trail Gen G in that spot by just over 12 points. Should you take Winery early here, and even better yet, eliminate Gen G, that gives you the chance to close. Nova are often in this contest. They split them currently on the leaderboard, but they're down in Lighthouse. Can deal with that problem later. The one thing we do get here, ladies and gentlemen, an Eastern Zone. The first one we've seen on Fortune's Keep inside this group. It's time to find out how it plays.
I know they do things backwards in the UK, but I think you mean West.
West, god damn it.
It's okay. It's okay. Listen, we've been locked in on all of this Warzone action, and it has just been
directionally
lights
challenged.
out. You are directionally challenged. I wasn't going to bring it up. It's A-okay. Just taking a look around, a couple of different teams here. Where's the lay of the land? How's everybody feeling here in this last final map on Fortune Ski? You can see a couple of those Stallions members over on the boat. Not a terrible idea.
I love it, to be completely honest. The rotation from this side of the map over to the west would be awful. So you just skip it, just take the boat, get the hell out. I mean, he is leaving his boys behind if you're Kruger, but he's often the anchor anyway, so it doesn't matter. Just kind of let him sail off into the seas and ensure that you boys can go and push out. Ravens, they're in the keep. They want to get out of here. Relatively sharpish. They will have loadout. And that's about picking a path.
One thing to note here, I'm not seeing FaZe Clan on the minimap anywhere around. I don't even think FaZe has decided to try and play this lower side. It's one last map. I think they maybe have done something completely different. We'll see where they are later, because I'm looking at them in the kill feed, and that they're obviously have landed down here in Main Street. You can see on your screen already, trying to fly back in towards this ammo cache side. And for H1, I think they're happy to maybe play in the water here a little bit, try and take advantage of these players trying to regain. CT Gaming, another team that needs to have a huge game. They're down here at Main Street as well. Mati tries to go for the quick scope, just not going to be enough. Kudli will be dropped, and you're going to send one more out into the water.
Fire getting on the move. Reminder, H1 currently sit in the spot. So many squads are trying to chase down them, and Stallions really what everybody's looking for towards the bottom of the board in the feed. And Fire, well, he's got no issues clearing up around PD. This is putting them in a wonderful position to see Saturday. We really didn't know what to expect from this team coming into it. And as such, meeting their own expectations. PBJ, also in a tough spot, sit in the bottom 3. They've cleared out books. They're looking to just hold what is relatively center circle when it comes to town, this east side. And we've seen it before. If sides can set themselves up at books and the zone drags more towards the middle of the map, you can cut down the sides, leaving in mass. Because that's the point in the play that they'll invest in.
Look at a nice little front row look at FaZe Clan. You saw Dizzy on your screen there with a decent number of kills. Only 5 in that last game. I thought it was way more, if I'm going to be honest with you. But hopefully they can do something different, putting themselves in a much more active part of the map. Maybe a better opportunity to get those kills. The other side, though, you got to make your way over. You can see our mini-map coming up there, and a number of teams outside of zone have to rotate in, but also a number of teams set up well to maybe gatekeep some of those rosters. Keep our eyes on how you are going to rotate in. And one of those teams that has to make it happen is going to be Gen G as they start this fight against Vitality. Let's see how the comms are flowing.
5 risk it.
Yo, yeah, do any of you guys have stims? No. We're definitely gonna need a streak.
Yeah. You wanna leave up for Pia?
I'm about to grab the recon.
I'm looting up one.
Yeah.
I can start that.
Stack it, triple stack it. Go. Good shit, boys.
Yep, good shot.
Throw a plate box right outside. Oh, you guys are all max, nice.
Okay, dude. We just gotta prolong the game, okay?
Yep.
Yeah. We're in a bad spot as well.
Yep. I'm gonna get top church.
Alrighty.
Pretty calm comms from the boys. They're in Gen G. They're just on the outside of zone. The Huff T1 gatekeeping them. But you can see here, Vitality, they've gone ahead. They've regained over here at this Main Street side. Can they find any amount of positioning to hopefully put themselves a line in the sand, cut down some of the likes of maybe Eclectic or other rosters?
And certainly what they need to do at this point, they are chasing a 16-point gap. GK. They themselves are right up there alongside Vitality and Nova. A bang here could make it happen, could see them through to Sunday. Skullface operating in the grotto here. This is a center circle as you like. The one thing is, as this fire sale approaches, feels like there's nowhere near enough cash in hand for an advance. If other sides possess them nearby, they will be out-infoed and leave them incredibly vulnerable for the fights that ensue.
That's a great call out. Yes, you're able to get your feet underneath you on the regain, but it's all about, do you have loadout? Do you have enough for an advance? Do you have enough for streaks? Do you feel okay about how many plates you have? These are all things you got to keep in the back of your mind, especially when Sage is down here and, well, he's getting found out by Novo. So you're still a man down if you are. You can see just on this outside, Novo. It's Blade looking over the boys as they start to push forward in that grotto area. They've been able to find Zanks. Tries to get a little bit squirrely with it, but will not stay alive. Stim keeps Vortex moving as they start getting shot from the top here. Looks like that's Skullface, who's now looking down, was hoping maybe to find one on the exit. Just a little bit too short.
Zone's polls next, slightly more northern than we would have expected. So for these sides fighting right now, your Eclectics, your Novos, they're going to have to move quicker than they would have liked. For Vitality, you are still inside. They're looking to pick up a couple of stragglers, maybe strip them of the money and weaponry and loadouts they possess. FaZe Clan, again, they've got to find a hell of a lot of points here. They're in town with a lot of bodies around them, and I'm seeing 3 kills on Dizzy, a 4th on Clamp, so you can shoot at this side. Oh, making ways, and well, one of the big fights there against Praise. Jay Fella, though, trade onto Dizzy. Marty was also knocked, so 1v2 here. If your FaZe Clan, as the other opposite member of PBJ lands on the side of him, that could set up a pinch.
Well, and look who's not too far away. It's also H1 who needs to get in, so they could decide to hear all this action, maybe clear it out, clear their backside, and just bring down some of the pressure. But for FaZe Clan, you have been able to back down PBJ. An opportunity for either of those teams to ensure that the other one does not make it through. Instead, they both understand the weight of the scenario. They back off, they reset.
So many big sides here inside the keep. Virtus Pro, Ravens, T1. All looking pretty good in terms of qualification to Sunday. But they do have company. Nearson drops Q8Z nothing in an instant. Pressure starts to arrive from Twisted Minds. They hear the gunshots that look to third party because it's not an ongoing engagement. Decide to back off, just play for pockets of space. Big kill from Smith there. Sorry, Sage. Onto Vortex. And out go FaZe Clan. We see it in the kill feed. That is likely them eliminated from the tournament. Don't see any way back. So unfortunately, for Swag and the LATAM North roster, this is all you will do in Paris.
A heartbreaking exit from that team. I'm sure we'll talk more about it after the map. And you can just see how disappointed they are there on your screen. So many teams, though, on this outside as Zone starts to continue to push them in. I like where Ravens is set up. A lot of these other rosters are trying to just beg for any amount of space they can. You can't throw a shoulder. You can't put yourself into the line of fire of any of these other rosters, because the second you do, you're about to get laced up from probably 3 different teams.
So many sides still up, 14 of them. We are approaching the end of the 4th circle. T1 again, so much space. Spam's going to consider the high ground. Look to see if anybody's playing off the back of that noise cue. So a lack of intel available to T1 right now. Checking all corners, all comers. Almost going to bang away in the direction of Novo. Just holding the north side of the map, rotating in with the walls. The problem is that we'll have Virtus Pro set up in spiral before you get to a place of comfort. They're the big checkbox for T1 included, unless they decide to completely skip that fight, playing through the lower side instead.
Feels very odd. Everything's kind of come to a standstill. We see in the kill feed there, H1 shots. They've been eliminated from this game. I think they might have done enough, though. We'll have to wait and see. Cluster ringing on out, a little bit of area denial. As GK are just here on the outside, and I'm looking at that kill feed. T1 wiped, but GK here on the outer edges of the zone. Let's listen in to see how they are feeling. What's the plan moving forward?
Ja. Der wird Tunnel unter uns wahrscheinlich gehen, so. Die einen sind halt direkt hier, die einen sind direkt hier. Fighten links, Graveyard, maybe fokussen die das. Unter uns, ja. Komm vor, komm vor, komm vor. Ich kletter einfach. Nein, an der Wall, Handy, pass auf. Ich wurde PN. Ich geh out of zone, Wir können bei mir sein. Die werden früher oder später fighten, Wir müssen darauf spielen. Ich fahr left on the wall. Ja, wir müssen darauf spielen. Komm. Komm vor. Links los. Bonnie, eine Kugel. Stopp. Ich kann nicht chillen, Digga, hinter uns. Chill. Ihr habt Cover. Was für Cover, Digga? Rest, man. Ne, er ist für Tommy. Hab ihn. Bonnie. Einer kommt von oben. Crack. Ich bin von Bonnie, genau. Von Graveyard links. Einer kommt. Ja, das war der.
Oh, listen, I can't understand German, but I can understand frustrations when you get knocked, but the action doesn't stop there. Ravens have decided to move forward. They're starting to get in the mix. Gen.G now getting guns hot. They cut down a couple of Ravens. Eclectic also getting dropped in all the fights.
Nielsen's going to get the reload in, just looking for a little semblance of cover here as a PA ripples over the top, sending corpses sky high. Speaking of which, incoming cluster as well. Smokescreen, who's dropping that to send over a rotation? Looks like Vitality on the hunt, going to meet Raven straight up. Sage will find the first, now trying to squeeze the rest of the boys.
Only one more player from the Ravens here. It's Nielsen. You get some early shots in. Nades up over the top. The problem is Nielsen, he's hopped up over the wall, and Gen.G is going to be on the other side. And you also have VP from above. Grimy trying to put the CBRS to work to take down Nielsen, who has 1 HP. Thankfully, Regen comes on in, and Grimy, he's just shooting anything that moves. Gabe Kuhn dropped. Skullface in the back as well. You got to move into the zone as it completely shifts over to Church.
I think VP have missed the Twisted have played in for their spiral though, so he might be on Earth in the moment. Aiden's gonna get the timing on Nielsen. Ravens are done. Gen.G and Ravens though should be through on to tomorrow. So for Ravens, just about last second heroics. The Vitality have got all the company with Twisted.
See Smith from below. He mistimes it. Almond cuts him down. Twisted Minds. They continue to hold the bottom of the spiral, but the rest of this lobby has moved forward. Adrian has been able to cut down Sage. That means it's just Skullface from Vitality left. It's one member of Gen.G. It's Twisted Minds and Virtus Pro. Time and time again, Skullface tries to hit the hop up, and he unfortunately misses it. But as I'm looking at this, that might have been a blessing in disguise, because Virtus Pro, they hold the entire rooftop.
They have no idea that he is here. Skull can't rotate into that gas early though. The second he starts to cough, it will ping. And so as Twisted Minds begin their own rotation, they'll be aware that VP know their location.
I like this. They understand that they can't play on that outside. Grimy, though, will get those shots in and cut down Aiden. That's another solo they don't have to worry about. They're probably getting flashbacks of that earlier match on Rebirth Island, where they let a solo absolutely chalk their entire map. Almond, he gets dropped, but the fight breaks out between these two squads. Almond and Shifty are taken out. Blast is found by Skullface. Skull goes huge when he needs it. It's a 1v3. Can he line him up and knock him down? The MXR, it's good, but it's just not good enough. Virtus Pro will take map number 12 in a very convincing fashion. They won 2 games yesterday. We're looking great, and here they are yet again, feeling fantastic.
For that, we should more than cement the position. Of course, Twisted Minds, God, they've been etched in stone for a while now, but Virtus Pro Ravens, T1, Gen G, felt that they'd all done enough. It's towards the bottom end that I'm particularly interested in. Those top 5 should be feeling comfortable about marching on through to Sunday, regardless of how everything else went on. We saw them in the latter stages. It's those bottom teams. We know the FaZe Clan fell too early. We didn't see CT Gaming from pretty much the middle of the map. It's those other sides, your H1, Stallions, PBJ, First Squad. Where did all of them exist? How many kills they walk away with? That determines whether or not you're packing your bags or drawing up VOD review for tomorrow.
Yeah, one thing to note there at that end as well, a big conversation we had, it was like Gen G and Vitality, how could they do? It was kind of a battle for that top 5. With both Aiden and Skullface getting to the end of that map, it feels like it's going to come down to whoever had more kills at the end of that. We saw Vitality having to regain. We saw Gen G getting mixy sort of in some of the middle of that map. I'm very curious how things are feeling. But man, what a way to wrap up Group A here at the Esports World Cup. 12 games over the last 2 days. We saw some heavy hitters performing. We saw questions answered about Twisted Minds. We've seen some really great squads come to fruition here. And in this last and final map, I mean, it felt like it was all out, just everybody trying to hang on as much as they could. But a little bit of listening from Virtus Pro as they wrapped up that map.
I'm right here, trade that. Easy win.
Watch out. Let's fucking go, boys. Fucking go. We'll close out on a fucking dub. Come on. We'll close out.
Yeah, incredible stuff, of course, from Virtus Pro. And just hearing those comms, man, like that, this team 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago, they were falling out publicly and viciously. It was an airing of a lot of dirty laundry, let's put it that way. But the way in which they've come together these last couple of weeks, suddenly we believed again that they could return to that form that we saw in Birmingham all the way back in March. And yes, they have indeed managed to get themselves on through to Sunday. Several of you won't be surprised. Maybe that was who Shifty was signaling to earlier on, not quite sure. But Ravens as well, they should be feeling pretty comfortable about their performances. Talked to them earlier on today. They were very disappointed with day 1. Much better here in day 2, despite the slow start, showing an element of resilience that you also want from the side with a ridiculous ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels so cool looking at this list of teams that we had here in Group A. I honestly think I can say, looking across the team list, almost every team had some type of just highlight moment, some type of big energy that they were able to bring across one of these 12 maps to kind of prove that they're a formidable team here, that if they make it out of that survival stage into the final lobby on Sunday, that they will be a force to be reckoned with. Great stuff. But for a lot of our teams, guess what? It's not done yet. You still got a survival stage to play through tomorrow. 5 of our teams will make their way towards Sunday. Get a nice little rest day tomorrow. Hit the VOD review. Maybe get a little bit of a download of some of the other squads. For 3 of our teams, unfortunately, like you mentioned, they will have to pack their bags. They will have to watch their keys get crushed. And they will have to have their EWC run.
Certainly shall. Checking in with a couple of the teams there. Lovely to see Tommy, of course, Warzone legend. Regardless of the events of this tournament, he will still sit inside the top 10 earners of all time, despite retiring almost a millennia ago. Of course, coaching in the Heretics. For Eclectic, the body language relatively neutral. I think they came into this tournament as one of the surprising favorites to get qualified through because of how good they've been in recent scrims. We haven't seen that side. I'll be honest with you, that sign is to take as hot as I hold shifts. I'm going to be honest with you. Twisted putting up ridiculous numbers. Wait till you see the final leaderboard, whether that be as a team or individually. So many of the fans, though, inside of here have been fantastic for those sides out on the stage. They've felt every bit of noise, the electricity, the pressure, but also the love coming in from the stands.
That is, listen, I want to wait for any type of confirmation on our squads that are potentially getting eliminated, okay? But I got to say, for some of these teams that were at the bottom, they just barely did not get eliminated, it feels like, by the skin of their teeth. It was so close on this bottom 3 to see there. I mean, it's just going to be wild. Like I said, I want to get confirmation. That's why I'm not listing any team names of who it's going to be. But man, I mean, it's just great to see all of these, right? I guess let's talk a little bit about some of these teams that are going to have to play through the survival stage, right? They will match up with sort of the middle 8 from Group B that will be coming on here in just a few moments when we do our walkouts and get Group B to play their last final 6 games. But if you are in this middle 8, is there anybody that you're kind of thinking that maybe needs to really kind of step it up? Because obviously you're going into what is potentially a harder lobby than this first 12 maps that you played to start your Esports World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, thinking the sides that I'm expecting to be in that middle 8,
I think vitality, right? Like we look at some of their drop spots in particular. If you end up even more contested than you are right now, I become a little bit nervous for them because they haven't been great on contest. It feels that they've been trying to regain a hell of a lot. I think another side is Heretics. Their placement has to be better. They're a squad capable of finding kills. We know that. I mean, Teeny literally broke record online last year in terms of one-map kills, and they have the capability to do something special here in Paris by getting through to those finals. Their placing is awful. The rotation, the ability to pump the brakes and just decide, okay, we're going to set ourselves up for a better condition later down the line. That really needs studying in the back. They do have Tommy as coach, so they have the brain there to get it done.
I think for me, it's eclectic. I think this is a roster that you and I both had pretty high hopes on coming into this event. It feels like they're kind of really hardcore relying on their Fortune's Keep to stay, basically active in these lobbies. They're doing a great job on that map of finding the kills. They play it almost better than, well, I'm not going to say better than anyone else because Switzerland looks pretty good on it, but, they look very formidable on that map, and I just need them to kind of maybe figure out some of their Rebirth Island, figure out some of their Haven's Hollow, just to, I think, be more competitive, right? They won a huge scrim not too long ago against a lot of these top teams that they're going to have to battle against.
Well, there was analysis done by James Brown, the AG Global coach, and he came back. Yeah, shout out to him. And a fantastic work, a brilliant mind in space. But he came out with a rankings, essentially, of all the team's performances over a massive sample of scrims. Eclectic were the second best team on Havens, third best team on Rebirth, and seventh best team on Fortunes. We haven't seen that so far.
Like the opposite of what we've seen.
That's one of the best stat lines we've got from any team in the tournament in terms of consistency. Yeah. And we've gotten to land, and all of a sudden, all of that's disappeared. It is a very different environment for sure. But yeah, they're going to have to step it up if we're going to see them through to Sunday. Heated exchanges from PBGA. Curious about if they know whether or not they are through, because it was very much so touch and go. Again, a side that, I mean, even recently they won a scrim. They've had a couple of high-end performances, but back to unfortunately familiar territory for them.
Well, we've talked a lot about the middle of the pack. We've talked a lot about the bottom of the pack. Let's talk a little bit about the top of the pack, okay?
Yep.
Twisted Minds. I know we kind of have talked a lot about them, but it's for good reason. It's one thing to top your group and to say, all right, hey, yeah, we were number one. It's another thing to just completely and utterly obliterate your
annihilate,
which is exactly what they have done. Unofficial numbers here, friends. Virtus Pro sit around just shy of 200 points at 198. Twisted Minds sit at about 313. 212 kills for them. My favorite stat line, the Anchor Almond out-fragging Blast. And we saw that in that 1v1 against Grimy to secure a map win.
Yeah, we've talked about how that role has evolved over recent weeks. It feels like, we're seeing Gabe Kuhn be moved into that role for Gen G, and a couple of other players, Echo becoming more involved for large periods of this last year, this last literal 12 months. It's been a case of your anchor sits in a pocket of space. That's what you always want to do. Certain sides, Twisted Minds included in that, kind of went, why the hell am I leaving Almond out there not getting involved in the gunfights? As soon as he steps up and come forward, it's gotten him more involved as the IGL as well. He's able to dictate the play better, make more informed comms, and all of a sudden that pacing that Shifty has demanded from the team all year long is there. The chemistry's there. It's great stuff. And yeah, they've sent out a signal to pretty much everybody else. Of course, the Falcons and their struggles yesterday in Group B, they will be looking over at this and well, they'll be raising their eyebrows for sure, because it feels like Twisted all of a sudden have all the momentum they need to challenge up there at the very top come Sunday.
Well, they've surely twisted the game alongside their fist around the rest of this lobby. Thank you. I was actually sitting around for a while. But they're feeling good. But also, we saw them on our screen not too long ago, and I think it'd be cool to talk about them again, is Virtus Pro. You hear him saying, like, yeah, screw it. We are good to end the game on a win. But guess what? Enough yapping from us. It's been great being here. But we got Barney ready to talk with, I believe, potentially Twisted Minds.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Sorry, we were just dotting the T's, crossing the I's, making sure that we've got everything sorted before we come down here and chat with Twisted Minds. Now, Shifty, my man, how does it feel to not only, secure the victory in Group A, but to dominate that group, my man?
I mean, it feels great. I think any tournament would feel great, but especially with our past, month or two, I think for the boys, this was everything we needed, everything we knew we could be, with everyone doubting us. We just knew, get to land, fry out, and we did just that.
A nice little confidence booster. Armin, I'm pretty sure that coming off the back of that final game, you guys are about 120 plus points ahead of second place. Now, does this team feel like the winning combo now for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just we're like kind of all clicking right now, and we're like peaking at the right time, and it kind of shows on the leaderboard. So we're gonna carry that confidence in the finals.
I like that. Confidence, momentum, that's all we need. Gentlemen, join me. Let's go over this way. We're going to go over to the Crusher because we got fun things to do. Because as you know, having competed here last year at the Esports World Cup, climb up onto the step. Come on, we all want to see you. As you know, after competing here last year, you'll know that crushing the keys is one of the awesome things that we get to do at the Esports World Cup. Before we do it, Blast, I want to talk to you, my man. Sunday, we got new teams coming into the mix. It's going to be slightly different, but like we said, there's a lot of confidence, there's a lot of momentum coming out from today. So how are you feeling about that?
I mean, they're just Warzone gamer tags. I've never cared about the gamer tags. I think this team has the most potential, the most talent, and when we're all flowing, I just think it clearly shows how good we can be. And yeah, I'm excited for Sunday.
You guys are in peak flow. I like it. I'm guessing tomorrow is going to be a nice quality time day off. But before we get into any of that, it is time to do this moment, the Crusher. Okay, Armand, why don't you do us a favor and press this button and open up the iris for the Crusher. Here we go. Revealing the teeth. Does that look menacing?
Yeah, I would not want to put my hand in there.
Yeah, please don't. Please don't. Health and safety. Okay. Now, Shifty, I'm going to get you to pull on this, and I'm going to get you to eliminate all the keys. Bish, bosh, bash. That was so fast. And there you have it. 3 teams crushed. I'm going to turn this off for you guys so that we can hear ourselves think. Was that satisfying?
Yeah, great.
Ooh, anything you want to say to the eliminated teams before we send them packing tonight?
Sleep well.
Sleep well, gentlemen. And that right there closes out Group A. Twisted Minds absolutely dominating the group throughout the past 2 days. The survival stage will be tomorrow, but we will see them on Championship Sunday. It's going to be spicy. We cannot wait for it, but of course we have lots more Warzone action coming your way. But first and foremost, let's head over to the studio to round out what we just saw.
That was nice out of Twisted Minds. Sleep well. I thought he was going to be saying, enjoy the flight back home. I thought it was going to be something along those lines.
Night.
Ain't nobody buying a flight back right now. They're going to get their scheduled ones on Monday.
Yeah, sleep well, though, teams. Sleep well. That's tough, though. That's tough. Hey, Crusher looked good.
Yes.
Shut down a lot faster than we thought it would.
It definitely did, especially for those teams. It's going to be sad seeing their key disappear. It's not going to be sad for Twisted Minds. We're really going to talk about them a little bit longer, though, because this squad, not only did they dominate day